Hey everyone, and welcome to 1v1 Me Bro, and I am honored again to be joined by an incredible guest. We got Proper, aka Proper Casts on Twitter, joining us today. A casting connoisseur, of course, part of the Challengers broadcast team, doing great work over there. And man, I'm excited to be here, bro. How you doing?
I'm just as excited to be here as you are to have me, man. It's been a long time coming since you and me just sitting in a call, just shooting anything that we possibly can.
Dude, amen.
Keeping the vibe strong, and I'm honestly here for it to talk about Call of Duty and get burned alive on some of those audio clips.
Dude, it's gonna be good. I have a lot of confidence in you, man. But for all the viewers out there, if you're new to 1v1 Me Bro, it's pretty straightforward. It's like a game show, talk show, little podcast vibes here. We're just hanging out, going through it together, and we're gonna be talking over a lot today. Obviously, we're gonna be talking about the background in CoD casting, the broadcasting experience, esports as a whole, and then we're gonna be talking about LAN, of course, on the dawn or the eve of LAN returning again this weekend. And we're gonna be going through it all, having a good time, just chatting it up about it. So again, first off, we usually start off with some icebreaker questions, some pretty straightforward stuff. The first one, since this is 1v1 Me Bro, do you have a favorite 1v1 that stands out to you in the history of anything? It could be COD, it could be another esport, it could be sports. Is there just some sort of 1v1 that kind of stands out to you in history?
So a lot of people don't know this about me, but I do come from Halo. Halo 3 specifically.
There you go.
I don't remember what it was, but it was with it was when T-Squared and Snipe Down. It was still they were still on straight ripping.
Okay.
But it was Snipe Down for the final kill on Slayer Guardian. I don't remember who it was up against. I think it was Old Reciprocities. But I'll always remember that very hype moment in my mind. It just going back, watching the Washi clip, just losing his mind. Yeah, that's probably one that'll live in infamy. Probably next to that, because I'm still very new to the Call of Duty scene. You go all the way back to Modern Warfare champs, especially with it was the footsie battle over on Ramaz's Search and Destroy with Clay, just battling the toes. I forget who it was up against as well, but that one was also really entertaining.
100%, man. What year would the Halo 1v1 been, like, roughly?
That's a very good question. I don't even remember off the top of my head. When did Halo 3 even come out? Like 2008?
That's a good question. That's what I don't know.
That would have been like closer to like 2009, maybe 2010.
Yeah,
somewhere around there.
That's sick, man. That's awesome. All right, so part two here is the classic dinner guest question. The 3 people in your dream dinner party that if you want to hang with, meet with, celebrities, like idols or, role models, who are your 3 people you'd want to have at a dinner party?
Ooh. Jimi Hendrix.
Oh,
for sure. Jimi Hendrix for sure.
Legend.
It's probably gonna be a lot of musical people. Probably Chris Cornell will be there.
Okay.
Yeah, Jimi Hendrix and Chris Cornell. That'd be a really fun conversation to have between the two of them.
Yeah.
And honestly, just to be able to see what would happen, just add in the chaos. Put Miles there. Just put Miles in there too. That just seems like a great time.
Oh my word! What a time to be alive. I could not imagine what Miles would get himself into at that table. That's outrageous. I love it, man. So I've been trying to say 3 different people every single time. So this time around, I think I would go Barry Bonds. Then I would go Francis Ngannou, UFC. And then I would throw in Drake and just kind of have us a good old time at the dinner party with those 3 guys.
That's the type of dinner guest where you would literally, you don't have to say a word. You would just sit back and just let the conversation unfold.
Absolutely.
There would just be so many good vibes.
I would sit there just literally listening the whole time. It'd just be crazy. I couldn't imagine what those 3 guys would talk about. But I love it, man. I love it. So the third question is, what is a movie you've watched the most in your life? Like
animated or live action?
Literally anything, whichever one you've watched you think the most.
Olden times would probably be like I still get, my heart gets moved by Toy Story 1.
Oh, there you go.
But
legendary.
As of late, just because it came out in 2019, Ford versus Ferrari. Matt Damon and Christian Bale. Great movie.
That was a great movie. I saw it in theaters, and like I went in with this kind of like, I'm looking forward to seeing it, but I didn't have like high expectations or anything. And I walked away like mind blown on how awesome of a movie that was. Like incredible performances like across the board. Like legit.
You question yourself if Christian Bale is actually American. Like you have no idea.
Literally, it's unreal. It's so good. So that's an awesome answer, man. So the last thing is if you had to survive on a deserted island with 3 COD personalities, COD pros, anyone in the scene, who would you be and why? Like, what would they bring to the table?
Clayster for sure.
Okay.
We would just sit there and talk about Pokemon cards. Full stop. Full stop. We would talk about Pokemon day in and day out.
And the other two people are like, yo, guys, we gotta survive here, man. Like, we cannot be talking about Pokemon right now. And you guys are like, nah, bro, you're good. Just keep doing it, man.
Standy would also be there.
Okay.
Eli's just good vibes. Just good
for
vibes
sure.
all around. Just a really pure-hearted kid.
Yeah.
And honestly, I mean, I gotta get Study there too. That's vibes.
Okay.
That's big time vibes right there. If I can get Jay there with those other two, it's a deserted island. No, the island's stuck there with us. We're just there for the good times.
Who's like the hunter gatherer? Like, who's the one providing for you guys?
I feel like out of the three of them, it would probably end up falling to me.
Okay. All right.
If not me, then it would probably be Clay. Clay just has. I mean, Clay's the experienced guy, right? Like,
Oh, perfect. You guys are going on hunting
Yeah.
trips while talking about Pokemon cards. I mean,
Yeah.
that can work.
Makes
I
the
love
time
it, man.
just breeze by.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's good stuff. So with that said, that does send us into our first Name That segment of the show. And the first thing off the rip here is a COD history moment. We start off right with one COD history moment. Again, if you guys are new to the show, if you name the game, you get 50 points. You name the event, you get 50 points. And then you name both teams, you get 50 points. And then just describe the event like down to the T best you can. And that's kind of how you get all the points here. So I'm very much looking forward to this. So without further ado, we'll just roll this. It's straight all the way through for the first moment, and we'll go from there. So let's check it out.
They're not done yet, though. One final push for one final contest. The tournament is decided here. They got a kill. And Illy's there up top. They got him out of the hard point. They might still be able to get in. They gotta fly. Go, go, go. Get in. They're able to get in. Everybody is into the point. 247. 247. It's madness inside. Rocker. They do it. They do it. They do it.
Legendary right there. Anything ringing a bell.
I've spent way too much time on Modern Warfare. I know this hit marker sounds in
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Illy, right?
It's definitely
so
Modern
first time
Warfare.
Maven casting Illy. That's Modern Warfare. It's Dallas Empire, obviously. Man, who do
Yep.
they face for that?
Yep.
I mean, it's got grand final vibes. Maven's casting it. Ooh, I don't remember the event, but if I had to take a big old swing at it, if they were coming that close to a hard point, it had to have been either Minnesota or Atlanta. Was that Illy just like going for the God contest? Now I'm starting to lead towards Hackney Yard, the contest that he ended up having inside the boathouse, and like he 1v3 to contest like 3 seconds of time.
Baby, we're making the plays, baby. So it is Hackney Yard. It was at CDL Los Angeles, and that's of course the last LAN event. So I had to choose the last LAN event heading into our first one finally since the comeback. So CDL Los Angeles, the last LAN event before COVID. And Rocker v Empire, 250, 247, and the Rocker came out on top, even though Illy made an insane contest with the kills inside the zone. The Rocker forced a game 5 at CDL Los Angeles. Was kind of the beginning of the Shotzzy reign during Modern Warfare. So you were right there. You got 150 points on the board already, which is fantastic stuff. Things you absolutely love to see. So with that said, we can head on to our second one, which is a video game trailer from, usually like the last decade or so. And it's split into 2 parts. So the first part is supposed to be really tough and really short. And if you get it in the first part, you get 300 points. If you get it in the second part, you get 150 points. So without further ado, let's roll the video game trailer. Let's check it out.
You're a wanted man, Mr. Morgan.
All right, it's really short. You're a wanted man, Mr. Morgan. Does anything ring a bell?
Black Ops 3?
It is not Black Ops 3.
It's not a Black Ops at all, is it?
It's actually not a Call of Duty.
It's not a Call of Duty? Oh,
It's not.
It's chalked.
Oh, no. I
man.
think you can get this. I think you can get this. So we'll head on to the second part, just because you already got your guess there. But we'll head on to the second part here, and we'll see what happens. Let's check it out.
Maybe when your mother's finished mourning your father, I'll keep her in black on your behalf. Where's our money?
Do you have my back?
Always, Dutch.
There you go.
That had like Red Dead Redemption vibes.
It is Red Dead Redemption. There you go. 150 points are on the board again. We're already up to 300. Already beat Shift. Things you love to see.
That's
beat
what matters the
Icon.
most.
We're in third place already, baby. Let's freaking go. All right. So with that said, we can head into kind of our first part of the conversation, which is your background in esports and just where your love for esports began, how you got into the esports scene, CoD casting, and just kind of your background as a whole, getting connected into esports and Call of Duty.
All right. So this is a lot. This is actually a pretty
bring us
big
back,
story.
baby. Bring us back.
So for those that like, I'm not always very open in talking about my family,
Okay.
but I am the youngest of four. Two older brothers, one older sister. My older brothers kicked my ass growing up in every single game possible. Whether it was like NASCAR Heat, Super Smash Bros. 64, like even when I'm trying to beat a level in Super Mario World, like they were just always beating me to it every single time.
Right.
That was the beginning of the drive to always want to strive to be better. And then Super Smash Bros. Melee came out, and that's when I actually took my turn to try to compete for the first time.
Okay.
At a very early local, I was like I was still a runt. Like maybe I was like barely double digits at that time. I don't remember when Melee even came out, but I still competed. I tried my best, loved it with a burning passion, and that's where it really all started. That then transcended into Marvel vs. Capcom 2. So my brothers started competing in Halo 2. I didn't really enjoy Halo 2 for it was. I have a great respect for Halo 2 now, but then when Halo 3 came out, it was all all cards were on the table right there. Yeah, I was hooked. That was my first iteration into a first-person shooter, barring like Counter-Strike 8s and 10s that we were playing inside the computer lab during like middle and high school. But Halo 3 really kind of took everything off. From there on out, I actually took a really big hiatus. I want to say Gears of War 2 was probably the last competition I ever actually took part in. And then I went to college for 8 years. 8 whole years I went to college.
Oh, man.
Didn't play any video games besides maybe World of Warcraft. But once I got my master's degree in animal behavior.
Really?
Then, yeah.
Dude, that's
animal
so,
behavior,
that's
and
so
I'm in
crazy.
esports. Yeah. Right, it's just so random. Like you probably meet a lot of personalities that are just like, what did you major in college? And you probably get like a big melting pot, but we're all
for sure.
we all find ourselves in esports.
That's a unique one, man. That's actually so crazy. Well, I guess real sidetrack, like what got you into like that, or like
I grew up around
masters
dogs. I grew up around chow chows. My mother ended up remarrying at a very young age. My father unfortunately passed away when I was about 2.
Oh, dang.
So when she remarried, my stepfather Greg, he brought in the house about 3 chow chows. If you're not familiar with chow chows were the once domestic guard dogs of the Chinese emperor back in about the 1900s. And then they got kicked out for the Shar-Pei because they are one-person dogs, and very much so one-person dogs. So that's why we always had many of them.
How is this spelled?
Chow chow? It's exactly how it sounds. Chow chow. CHOW.
Oh, wow. It's these dogs.
Yeah. Big old fluff balls, right?
The big old fluff balls. Yeah.
Yeah, those were the domesticated guard dogs of the Chinese emperor way back in the day. And then they got replaced by the Shar-Pei, so a big fluff ball got replaced by a big wrinkly love sack. It's
That's
very,
hilarious.
really funny. Yeah, so I always grew up around dogs. It was a big passion of mine. I always really enjoyed the mentality of person's best friend, and I always lived by that. So I went to college originally to study music. I had a big musical background, whether it was marching band, playing sousaphone, playing jazz bass, or guitar, or singing as well.
Dude, that's so
I didn't
crazy.
ever do what I wanted to do when I was going into college originally. So a year was spent trying to do musical education. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't want to end up becoming a middle school or high school band teacher. As much as I enjoyed that part of my life, I just didn't really see myself becoming that person. So I was like, well, what would be a good fallback besides general studies? At University of Maryland, they actually had a really nice program for me to be able to go directly into for training. So 8 years down the hole, with a minor in nutrition and in biology and sciences. Animal behavior was my major, and I used that degree for about a solid year or so, training show dogs, training police dogs, military dogs. Yeah, my biggest pop off moment during my animal behavior career was during Hurricane Katrina. All the pit bulls that ended up getting displaced down in New Orleans. Up in DC, we actually got, I want to say, close to about 20 of them, and they were all sorts of messed up, man.
I would imagine.
We're talking food aggression, trust issues. They would barely even want to come out of the corner. Like, it's quite literally like a caged animal at that point. I had rehabilitated about 10, 12 of those dogs. They found forever homes, and I ended up keeping one of them as well. Who
Really?
unfortunately had to be put down about a year ago before I ended up moving down here to North Carolina.
I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah, it was honestly, that training show dogs was cool, but I was also working directly with people, and you know, a lot of people will end up saying, well, it's always the person that trains the dog, and you're absolutely right. That person is a reflection of their dog. And as much as I love Chihuahuas and Pomeranians, which the ones I was training, that's sarcasm, by the way. I wanted to be able to work with bigger dogs. I wanted to be able to have a purpose besides just training like show dogs and stuff. So I ended up going into rehabilitation, and that was probably one of my favorite moments. But from there on out, I fell into esports. Overwatch came out. I went into coaching, and then I got a casting opportunity. Got a really good amount of feedback from that casting opportunity, and then I got put on Chinese contenders, South America contenders.
That's
and then
so
I met
crazy.
This clown named my whole shift, and now I'm in Call of Duty.
What? We just escalated so quickly there. So so how did you get connected into COD then specifically? Like, what was that process like?
So I want to say it was about 2-3 seasons. This was about 2019. It's about 2019, towards the end of Black Ops 4's tenure.
Yeah.
And Alan, I Hold Shift, had approached me. We had already been casting Overwatch together, and he was like, "Hey, I think that you would really enjoy Black Ops 4. When was the last Call of Duty that you played?" I was like, "Dude, I haven't played a Call of Duty since like Modern Warfare 2. Like High Rise Capture the Flag is the last thing I remembered."
Right.
And he ended up showing me what Black Ops 4 was, and it was 1-to-1. I mean, you talk about specialists, the streaks, everything was screaming Overwatch. Because if you're not familiar with Overwatch, 6v6, you got all your different heroes, the abilities, resources galore that you have to be able to track. And I'm a traditional color caster. I lick my lips at things like that. I love being able to break things down analytically like that. So it was rough at first, but it was that little bit of transition that Shift had pointed me into, doing a couple of CMG S&D tournaments. College COD playoffs was the big one that ended up pushing me over. And then when Modern Warfare came out, I was like, all bets are off. Overwatch is out. Call of Duty is in. I mean, the community itself, as you know, yourself included, it's just such an infectious, contagious personality that you end up just like soaking in.
There's so many aspects,
yeah, and I love it. I just can't get away from it.
Right. Oh man, I mean that's the thing about the passion pit. Like it just really does live up to its name in every way. Because like if you're not there, if you don't have that passion, it ain't working. It ain't happening. I think it does make it insanely contagious in that regard. Like you've got to be all in for it to really come together for you. It's awesome. I 100% agree with that. That's really, really cool. I actually didn't realize that kind of shift helped usher you into COD in that way too, which is really, really cool. That's awesome, man. So what have you been involved with lately with COD, and like how's that been for you and like your experience this year with Call of Duty and challengers and everything else?
Yeah, it's been a lot of focus on challengers. You'll find me on the community broadcast throughout all of the stages. I'm unfortunate to say that I didn't get picked up for the main broadcast, but that's okay because I mean I'm still putting in the work, the blood, sweat, and tears, because again, it's that passion pit. I feel like that there's a lot of stories that need to be told, and the narratives need to be flushed out. And I'm more than happy to be that person to be able to do it, whether it's polling or just DMing a couple players or coaches for that matter. I have been mostly focused on that, whether it's trying to focus on this crazy roster mania that's always happening in challengers that does make it relatively exciting to a certain point in time. We're always talking about different top teams over in Europe, North America. APAC is still ruled by Renegades and Void, as well as Chiefs. That's okay, but it's its own passion within its own self, with a lot of notable players and very talented ones at that. But that's been my big focus, is mostly around challengers, with not just the cups, mostly around the elites for Europe and North America with the community stream. And then Warzone as well. There's so many Warzone competitions that are happening. I did the original Huskers Howl, that was back in November, and then I just did Huskers Howl Top Dog last month, as well as the Operation Atlantic, that was with Toronto.
Nice.
And then what else have I done lately? There was another Warzone tournament I did the one for MVS as well. The Battle of the Trenches. That was the recent one, the invitational that he ended up doing. But yeah, I've just been focusing on whether it's Warzone or Challengers. I mean, I love the CDL for all that it's worth, but I will sit here with a giant spotlight on Challengers
for sure, man,
until I don't have to anymore.
No, I love that. I mean, again, because there's so much potential for Challengers to be awesome, and like like to literally be the college football of American football. Like in an ideal world, you have the NFL and you have college football, who are both unbelievably popular, and you can kind of like develop those scenes like together. And like the popularity of college football flows straight into the popularity of the NFL and vice versa, with the interest in the rookies and the interest in the upcoming talent that's in college football. Like, I just think that balance is like what COD should be trying to like achieve. And I think it's really possible with the storylines that you could create in challengers, but it has to be really organic, and hopefully COD can work on developing that kind of organic feel to the integration of challengers into the broadcasts and into just the overall main story arcs of the CDL as well.
And you'll see a lot of people, or a lot of players rather, that you'll be able to recognize as well. Like all the way back from like Black Ops 2. I mean, like, yes, Haggie's still there, Parasite's still playing. I'm sorry to tell everybody at home, whether you love to know it or not, that Censor is not currently playing, but he's putting out some banger tweets as of late. I know, right? I'm sorry.
No!
There go all the viewers now. But I think at the same time, like, when you look at like Jordan General, Gravity. We'll look at over at Europe. Sukri's still playing. That was a part of Heretics back in the day for Black Ops 4.
Right.
Medals. There's so many talented players that are still being represented within challengers because of what we ended up facing going from 5v5 to 4v4. That added a giant influx.
And only 12 pro teams.
Exactly. And you'll still find a lot of players like John's resurgence as of late. Like old John, like coming back to try to compete again. Saints is there too. People trying to wonder what happened to Spart. Spart's still competing at a high level as well. There's so many players that you could end up hopping into a challenger stream, or just a nightly 8 stream if Parasite is streaming it, and you'll probably recognize more than half of the players that are taking part. I know,
and that's what's crazy, is that it's just insane that we don't have a more developed like storyline and a way to deliver those stories to like the community. Because I'm just surprised that the community. We saw at the beginning of the year with like the viewership that like some of the shift streams were getting, like 4,000 plus viewers early on, and the pros willing to host and doing those things, that the people are interested in this. And like we're seeing like Methods just playing his tournaments now with just over 1,000 viewers on his own. And like there's that storyline's there for the taking for the amateur scene. And I really, really hope that the CDL can work to embrace that and find ways to tap into that and really plug it into the CDL storylines naturally, because instead of getting like our 400th, commercial about insert ad here about some random, whatever it is, Hearthstone or whatever, maybe we get a challenger storyline, little like 5-minute segment instead. Maybe that could be something we could do to help develop the storyline. And that's what blows my mind, is that those types of things still haven't happened yet, and it just makes no sense.
The way I always say it, and like as a nice final note for it as well, is that there's tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3, right? And this exists in every single esport. Overwatch is no different. Rainbow Six is no different. Rocket League is no different as well. And you end up having your tier 1. Those are the pros. Tier 2, challengers, contenders, if you're talking 1-to-1 for Overwatch to Call of Duty.
Right.
And then you have your collegiate, right? But how does that work? What makes it a tier system? It's a ladder. There would not be a tier 1 without the other 2 tiers. How do you get to being a pro player? Well, you end up having to put yourself out there, whether it's your own personal stream or through challengers being on a broadcast. You don't get recognized just by that one scouting ground that we had at the beginning of the season. Come on, like we need more. We need more.
Way more. I 100% agree, and that can kind of we could probably pick up this conversation a little bit here in a second too, just because of it'll be really fitting for the LAN environment and things that we can capitalize on there too. So I think with that said, we can probably head into our second part here of the Name That. Obviously, you're on fire right now, man. You're sitting at 300 points, and now we've got our last 3 little guesses here. So we're rocking with a COD gun first, and we'll do a COD personality, and then our final COD moment. So our first one's the COD gun, and we'll see what happens here. And again, it's split up into 2 parts. First part's really short. If you can get it there, you get 300 points. If you need the second part, you get 150. So here we go. Let's rock and roll. This is a COD from COD. This is a gun from at some point in the history of COD. Let's check it out. There it is. That's all you get.
It's from it is Modern Warfare, no?
I ain't giving any hints out here.
Ah! All right, give me with the second part.
We'll rock the second part here. We'll see. We'll see. All right, there you go.
Oh, he said control. Gun during control. Black Ops 4? It's not Cold War. That's not the voice from Cold War. Unless it is, and I'm just psyching myself out.
You know, I'm a silent book over here. I can't be giving away anything.
I'm just gonna go ahead and throw it. Is it the Krig?
It's the Krig. It was a trick question.
Yeah. I'm like, maybe I am psyching myself out because he said control, and I'm like, I recognize that reload sound.
I was waiting to pull this out on somebody. I wanted to throw like it's from COD history and then pull out the Krig.
You're not wrong. It is history.
Yeah, man. All right, so you're on the board again, baby. 450. You're now tied for first place. We have a three-way tie for first place right now. So if you have two more things to guess here, if you get any points, you'll have sole possession of first place. Oof. Which is pretty exciting. So with that said, we can now head into our COD personality, which is a pro or a personality from the COD scene. You just gotta identify their voice here. So again, same thing, split into two parts. You get 300 points for the first part, 150 for the second one. So let's roll the short first part here.
We're like, just like if you feel any nerves at all, just take a couple deep breaths and just relax and just have fun, talk to each other. Like,
there you go. There it is. Anything coming to mind there? This is tough. Again, it was out of context, straight up from like just an interview. Anything coming to mind?
It almost sounds like it sounds like a Beezy.
I can run it one more time if you'd like.
Yeah,
like,
try one more
like,
time.
If you feel any nerves at all, just take a couple deep breaths and just relax and just have fun, talk to each other. Like,
all right, you got a final answer for part one here.
I'm not even gonna lie, I don't really know what half the COD players even sound like off the top of my head.
That's fair.
No,
it's fair. I don't expect you to know everything here. I mean, you're already killing it. So I mean, like at the end of the day, the pressure's off. But all right, we can roll into part two if you'd like and just give a little bit more context here. I think there's a few hints in here too, so we'll see.
Yeah, so it started off with me and Crowder. I wanted to stick with Crowder as my coach. I've been with him since the start of my career. So it was me and him, and then he brought up Celium, and I was like, yeah, let's make me and Celium the duo and build off of that. And
there you go. Anything ringing a bell here? Obviously a few hints in there.
This is Black Ops 4 phase. Calling in Celium to be the duo. Attach?
It's not attach. It's actually from Modern Warfare. So this was the first event of Modern Warfare. This was the FaZe squad there. So it's Priesta who ended up on FaZe in Modern Warfare with Crowder as their coach. So right there, he's been with him his whole career. So you were right on track there with the whole attach guess, but it was the other guy who's always been there. It's Priesta.
Yeah, it was the other guy.
So with that said, you can break the tie here. Again, you get 50 points for the game, 50 points for the event, 50 points if you can name both teams, and then 50 points if you can describe the play or the event to a T. So let's see if you can take sole possession of first place here. Let's roll the moment. Let's check it out.
Uh-oh. To control. You will never see a finer round of search and destroy in your life.
There you go. Do you have an answer?
I recognize Ton's voice. I know Chris's voice. So it's got to be, I would assume to be Black Ops 4. I recognize all of those sounds. Crowd pop off was pretty
We got
specific.
BO4. Can you name the event?
Is that Anaheim?
It's not Anaheim.
That crowd was way too hyped to be
crowd
Anaheim.
was hyped.
Yeah, that has to be London then. It's gotta be London.
So can you name both teams? You heard a few names in there, so.
Wasn't that Gunless on Frequency? Like he just had like the most wild and zany, like everybody just kept on feeding him coming out of like you.
Oh man, so unfortunately it was not Gunless, but this was Simp. So in there, you heard the kind of like the bang, the oh, Simp! And that's what it was right there. The names were kind of hidden in there. So this was COD Champs against Units. And this was Simp getting the 3-piece with the sniper on Arsenal during COD Champs. The insane clip right there. Again, I think people are underestimating how difficult this is just to pull it out of thin air and just like where you're at right here. It's really tough. And we've had guests who came on very confident and got smoked. So at this point, you got the game right, which gives you the 50-point break. So you have 500 points, which puts you in sole possession of first place on the leaderboards. Let's go, Proper. You're insane. Things you absolutely love to see. So, my word, that moment is so good, man. That was Simp's 3-piece again. He finished that map 14-1. That was round 6 with the 3-piece there, which is absolutely insane. At Champs in the, I think it was the quarterfinals of Champs, I was reffing the Bravo stage. I just heard the Alpha stage just like explode. Like, what is happening over there? And I had to go back and watch the clip later because it was just so insane.
It was like between that one and like you go back to Gridlock for CWL London.
Yes.
Yeah,
and it was the snipe against Octane in London. Yeah, where it was like Simp is like, oh, Simp has arrived. This guy's insane.
Simp with the Paladin, man. I tell you, I could go back and I could watch a half an hour of those clips. And then do it again for 24 hours straight.
And that's the thing. That's what's so scary about FaZe right now is we're watching FaZe dominate the CDL. And that's with Simp not sniping in Search and Destroy. I mean, just imagine what the damage he'd do right now with the game and how OP sniping is. I couldn't imagine.
The aim assist LW3 Tundra, nobody would be safe.
Oh my word. It would be unreal, man. So, my goodness. So, with that said, you are the first place leader right now on the leaderboards. Things you absolutely love to see. And we can head into our kind of second topic here, which is basically the impact of LAN. We talked about this on the podcast yesterday a little bit, or I guess coming out today, but just your thoughts on LAN, kind of this upcoming tournament, the things that you're looking forward to with LAN returning just for this tournament, moving forward for Champs, and then hopefully, you know, back onto LAN for Challengers next year as well. What are you looking forward to as a whole for the future of LAN and Call of Duty?
As a loving spectator, I everything that you just played in that clip, that's what I'm looking forward to. Dude. I want to feel that again. I want to be there. I want to feel the roar of the crowd. I want to be the roar of the crowd. I don't even have to cast it. I don't care. I just want to be there to feel it, man. That's probably what I'm mostly looking forward to personally. I'm also looking forward to just the, this is going to sound pretty crude, but it's very honest at the same time. Okay. I'm mostly looking forward to the players just to stop complaining about online play. Like at that point that you're going back to LAN, there's no excuses anymore. You're on LAN. It's the connection. Maybe you have a problem with the PC. Take it up with the refs. I don't care. But you don't have anything to complain about. Your connection to the server, your hit registration. It's all fair and square here, baby. We're not pinging up to Canada to face Toronto anymore, and you're not pinging from Texas to Atlanta anymore.
Right.
No, you're all there together. You're pinging like maybe like 3-7 at most.
For sure.
That's it.
For sure.
I'm so excited to be able to see that competition arrive again.
Oh, I know. I'm hyped, man. And like, I mean, especially from like the challenger scene where like it's really tough for the challengers guys competing right now. I mean, they don't have the luxuries that the CDL guys have, let alone they're getting screwed over by hosts constantly and all this crap too. So it's like that can get really tough for the challengers guys too. And I would imagine for them, they're just like, please get us to LAN. Like, you know, the amount that you see talking about hosts and connection problems.
Yeah.
You know, throughout all of those guys who are tweeting about that right now is. I mean, it's a real thing, and you got to feel bad for them, like, when those things happen. I mean, like, I know whenever I'm playing, even, like, in our community league, if I'm, like, playing on, like, 80, 90 ping or 100 ping, you're like, dude, like, I'm literally getting smoked right here, and I can't do anything about it, you know? And so that can get tough. So I understand kind of the perspective of the pros or the amateur guys who like, are getting pissed in that regard, but at the same time, just having LAN back is going to be so fun. How many LAN events have you gone to specifically?
So, funny enough for Call of Duty.
Yeah, for COD. Just one. Okay.
Just one. CDL Atlanta last year.
Oh, man, that was a blast.
That entire weekend was so fun. I honestly, I wish that I vlogged
How
it.
did we meet there? Remembered. That's the real question.
There had to have been a point in time where we were in the same room. If you ever saw the dork walking around with, because like, I mean, you know my hairstyle. It's very easy to be able to shave an Atlanta FaZe logo on the side of my head and be like, okay, well, I'm just gonna go freshly shave my head again.
Yeah.
That was me. I was first in line in that barbershop, man. That was
dude, that was sick. That was sick.
So I spent most of my time walking around with challengers, just trying to watch a lot of that content unfold, in and out of the crowd. Because I'm not gonna lie, that crowd at CDL Atlanta was a little weak. It was pretty weak.
I don't think they advertised very well for that one. I don't know why it was so bad. Like compared to like Minnesota and like even the other crowds that we saw like for Atlanta or London.
Yeah, exactly.
It was weird.
So I was mostly around the challengers area until the last day, and then I was, you know, obviously in the grandstands trying to get all rowdy if my voice was even upholding to that point. But apart from that, I mean, I would have to probably make a Google sheet to tell you how many events that I've
Oh,
been to
yeah.
for, like,
At
in
this
between all the
point.
Super Smash Cons, all the Overwatch League events. Like, yeah, it's just way
Right.
it's so many.
Oh, for sure, man. I just can't wait. It's gonna be so fun. I mean, what are your thoughts about not having the casters there, and like, how do you feel like that'll affect even just the casters or the overall vibe of the tournament and how it's broadcasted? Because, I mean, that was at least a little bit surprising to hear that the casters weren't going to be there, just considering like you know how much that can help just for the vibes and the aura of the casting as a whole.
Yeah, I feel for the CDL casters in a way too, because you saw all the coaches and the players like talking about, oh, I can't wait to be able to see my friends that I haven't seen in an entire year. Like,
Right.
you just let that set in for an entire year that they have not seen each other. Like coaches, yeah, you can be on a video call like me and Salvations here, but like it's not the same as saying like, yo, it's Champ Sunday. After this, we're going to the hotel bar. Let's go ahead and have a couple drinks. Let's go ahead and recap the entire event and just shoot the shit. Like
I know.
That's not going to be able to happen for the casters, and it means just as much to them as it does for the players and the coaches as well, and all the event staff at the same time to be able to have that little bit of release. Is it gonna take a big effect for the commentating? Absolutely not.
Okay.
There's no crowd. There's no crowd. What do you
Right.
want to hear? The empty stadium?
Yeah, realistically, they probably they wouldn't even been in the same room as the players playing in the first place anyway. Just yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, but at the same point in time, I feel like once we get spectators again, then it would be, I'm sure that CDL would be more obliged to have the casters there.
Oh, for
because
sure.
the room audio is just so much better, and like you're able to feed off of that as a commentator, speaking from experience myself. But
Definitely.
I think at the same point in time, as long as us as a community doesn't find the smallest thing to nitpick about it, it's gonna go off without a hitch, and we're gonna be able to enjoy it for exactly what it is. You just can't be upset. Take it from a caster's perspective. You
Exactly.
can't be upset about the casters not being there. If there's no crowd, there's really no reason. You're gonna be able to get sound, I'm sure. Like if you get skunked standing up and talking shit to somebody, you'll probably end up getting a nice rough cut and censored version of that. But at the end of the day, the casters not being there, it's not going to change the broadcast. For
sure. I agree. So last thing is I want to talk to you just overall about just the challenger scene and the integration into the CDL and where you hope to see it moving forward in the next year or two. And just the small improvements and the simple things that the CDL could do to help develop the AM scene, the things that the AM scene can do to help develop themselves, and what just your opinions overall about the opportunities that are there for both sides.
Again, I came in at Black Ops 4, so like my first iteration into Call of Duty was around CWL Anaheim.
Okay.
But take Champs for example, right? How early did Genji get knocked out? Pretty early, but they were still going in pretty favorites. Like you had like Nagafin and everybody else like knocked out.
I was standing right there.
Early. Yeah, that's insane within its own self. But that can't happen again for top amateur teams across the pond and North America to be able to show their grit, tenacity, and being able to take these pro teams and quite literally have them put their money where their mouth is. We need that ability to be able to have these challenger teams like Built by Gamers, for example. Like a whole bunch of other organizations, like what you got with Team War across the pond over in Europe as well. Elevate is another great example over there. And even Renegades is always an immediate consideration that with the world starting to heal back up, I would love for some sort of play-in or integration that say you take like the top two teams from
the
APAC,
US Open.
you take the top 4 teams from North America, top 4 teams from Europe, have them play in, and whoever is the top 4 teams from that then gets to go play at CDL Champs.
Yeah.
They get seeded in to be able to play at CDL Champs. So not starting in the losers bracket, you would be able to do like round robin play, much like what we do for Elite. And then that would funnel in for a whole bracket for amateurs to then compete with pros.
Okay.
So that way you can then end up having the same opportunity. So that way you can end up recognizing, say, Pred over in APAC, who's absolutely nasty, by the way, can finally get the recognition that they deserve. But it's not as easy for them to be able to travel over here all the often. But with the backup for Renegades and with the world healing, maybe that's an opportunity that we could have. I would love nothing more than for that to come to life. Not towards the end of this year, whatever the next title may be, World War II, Vanguard, World War III, I don't care.
Yeah.
it just give me the opportunity to be able to see these wonderful amateurs that compete and put just as much blood, sweat, and tears into the game day in and day out as the
more
pros.
at times. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree.
They deserve it. They absolutely deserve it.
To build on that, I guess like, first of all, like, not having pros play amateurs ever is just straight up just doesn't make sense in a Call of Duty perspective. Like, would you really know? I mean, think about like Kleenex last year, or in BO4 and Singularity. Like, at that point, we knew Kleenex was a legit talent. And like, you're like, okay, he's doing this against the pro players. This guy needs to be on a team. And it took him a whole year even to get in at that point. And then we see him this year and last year playing incredibly well for Toronto. And obviously now they're one of the top 2 teams in the CDL right now. And Kleenex is a big part of that. You have inside as well as guys who recently came from the amateur side of things too. So, and former teammates on that Singularity team in BO4. So it's like, at the end of the day, my overall idea to kind of build off of integrating with the amateur scenes right now is having this like US Open tournament, hopefully in the middle of the year, like June, like right now, or maybe a little bit earlier, May, where one time per year, if the prize pool is a big issue for teams, or like for the franchises, like, well, we want our money, we paid to be in this type situation, then I'm totally fine with having a split prize pool where the top amateurs get their own little pay and they don't have access to the big prize pools of the you know, the main teams. But at the end of the day, I think having like this mid-season type US Open tournament could be incredible, where it's literally like every open bracket we ever saw before, where maybe you do some sort of online qualifiers and you have the top 32 teams fly out to this LAN tournament like normal, where you have a big mid-season major that is a US Open style tournament where you, again, like old school CWL, you're placing those teams into the pool play with the pros and let them hash it out there as well. I think that could be so fun and so cool to finally see again. And I just think it's necessary, kind of like for like invigorating the blood into the amateur scene, and just like the idea that I could go from sitting on my couch today to in a week or a year or 2 years being in a pool play without ever having to know the pros or like the friendship league aspects of it. I think that aspect's so valuable and really missing right now in the veins, like the DNA of Call of Duty.
This falls in the same conversation about like how we're doing grand finals right now with the best of whatever the hell is going on, rather than like a bracket reset. Like we're kind of changing the fundamentals of Call of Duty.
The DNA of the core.
Yeah, and although I feel like it's been a great case study, I think we're starting to realize that it's not really taking and it's not really working.
We took one for all esports, you know?
Yeah, it's not. Although it might work, like say like a best of 9 is actually really, really good for Overwatch, or like a first to whatever they do. They do like first ofs. They don't do like best ofs anymore, and that is a weirdness within its own self. But I think that for Call of Duty, you're absolutely right. You got like the roots are there, and they have worked for generations.
I know, for over a decade.
Yeah. Like, I think we need to understand that this is not only what the community wants, but this is also what works, and this is also what's going to keep the community happy, and what's going to keep them thriving as well.
Right, and it keeps it unique and fresh compared to some of the other esports as well, where you literally have even though it's a franchise league, it's still not gatekept all the way. Like, in the same sense, like, you can't just become a PGA Tour pro, but once a year, the amateurs have a chance to qualify and compete against the pros in the US Open. And you see that across almost all of those types of those sports too, tennis and a lot of other sports too. So it's just like, why not? Can a CDL just figure out a way to make it happen, split prize pools or anything else? I want that to be a thing. All right, last thing, real quick. If you had to predict 3 pros who are for sure gonna get a pro spot next year, 3 AMs who are for sure gonna get a pro spot next year, who would you say?
Oh my god. Oh man. Well, I feel on blast right now.
3 players who you think are just how about 3 players who you think are underrated?
Jordan General.
Okay.
Jordan General, Tom Gravity.
Heck yeah.
2 big main ARs that need their shine, that need their spot. Not only as IGLs, but also just fantastic.
And they're winners.
Players. Yeah. Oh yeah.
There's grinders,
that too. They're winners. Yeah. And the last one, I would honestly be amazed if Saints doesn't get picked up next year. I think that Saints has had a really good season. Say what you will about, like, you know, in and out of subliners, but whether he was duo with Spart, who was running the AR flex, or Prelude as their OBJ sub, I mean, Saints has always been with the one consistent factor. He's been the slaying SMG that you can always go to for Subliners Academy. And I would be personally upset if I don't see Saints in the league next year, because that is a stark difference of what we saw from Saints from old LAG Gorillas into Subliners Academy from
I
Modern
agree,
Warfare
man.
into Cold War. I think that dude deserves another shot.
For sure. I love it, man. I appreciate you coming on, bro. It's been a blast. Obviously, this is the part of the show where I roll out the red carpet for you, and you can plug anything and everything. Obviously, you've got your thing going on YouTube as well. And tell the people what's going on.
Well, you can find me everywhere at ProperCast, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube is a little bit of a harder one because you can't get your own custom URL until you reach a certain threshold. Whatever.
Right.
We'll get there eventually, but yeah, I'm currently working through. Yep, Proper Talks is a current series that I am currently working on, where I'm talking to a multitude of Call of Duty personalities. Just getting to know them a little bit better, right? It's almost like showing up to like your first interview, your first day. That's exactly what we're trying to do.
Right.
We're just going deeper and past what makes them just a Call of Duty pro, coach, amateur, content creator, whatever it may be. So that way us as a community can feel a little bit more personalized when we are seeing these people on screen playing the game, slaying out whatever it may be.
Amen.
Hoping to do more of that series as it's going along. You can also find me on a multitude of Challengers community broadcasts in the upcoming weeks, especially with the Elite Stage 5 just around the corner. Qualifiers, then the round robin, then the knockout bracket. I'll be there, I'm sure, whether it's on Shift's Twitch or his YouTube page, just trying to cover as much action as possible. But Twitter's the best place to find me. Linktree is right there as well. It'll get you everything that you need to find me.
Yes, sir. I really do appreciate you are coming on and hanging out, and I hope the people enjoyed it as well. If you guys did enjoy it, of course, drop a comment down below. Love to hear your opinions and thoughts on the direction of the CDL and where we could and how we can integrate, challengers into the CDL better, and the impact that LAN might have on, returning back to LAN over the next few weeks and months and years as well. So appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe, share the video if you guys really enjoyed it, and we really do appreciate it. Go check out Proper anywhere and everywhere. And guys, we will see you next time. We out.